right, well, let's go ahead and get started. So again, my name is Kyle Davis, and we'll go over the common support cases here. We've been getting a lot of support cases on Autodesk account stuff lately because of all the licensing and stuff that's going on with the single users and the assigning users and user management portal. So that's why we're going to have this webinar, is to cover some of those most common things. And most of them will be easily solved by just looking into a few details. And that's what we're going to get into. So in this webinar, we're going to cover the examples of being able to log in to your Autodesk accounts page and figure out some of the issues that might pop up dealing with new licenses or existing licenses and user management stuff. And we will get into those. So some of the three major ones that we deal with are: the software is missing from my account, where do I get the installers, and what is my activation method? These have been coming up quite a bit in the regards of getting new software purchases and changing of people in the role of who purchases the licenses. That's what we're going to be covering with that software missing. And then also, again, the where's the installers. We're going to go over how to get the different types of installers, where can you get them, the best activation or the installers and how to get those. And then also the activations, more understanding of what each of the different types of license activations are. So again, the first one is the software is missing. And this one is probably our primary one that we've been getting lately. This is because a lot of clients are doing changing of people or new orders, so they got new hires, or they're dropping licenses and adding new licenses. And so some of the things about this is that what we're going to do. So one of the big things is that when you first purchase a license of any of the products, by default, whoever is the contract administrator that does the purchasing becomes the primary admin. And that's a key thing there, is that the contract manager is automatically the primary admin. However, the primary admin can be changed after the fact. So you can change the primary admin to someone else who is not the contract manager. The contract manager is still assigned on the back end for that, where we can update that information. But the primary admin can be modified through your Autodesk accounts page. The contract manager can be modified through a different portal or contacting your rep, CSR, or support team here at ATG. We can help update the contract manager. We're also going to talk about the emails associated with that, because there is the other things that we've been seeing with it is the primary admin is the same person. However, new emails and domain changes have been happening, so that can impact this as well. So we'll cover that. And also the primary admin, by default, the primary admin is assigned one of the new licenses automatically. So if you purchased 5 seats and then you go into your Autodesk accounts page and you see that your seats are sitting there, however, it says that there are only 4 licenses available to assign out of 5. So you have 1 missing. So it'll say 1 of 5 remaining. And the reason for that is because the primary admin by default is assigned one of those licenses. So if the primary admin does not need to be assigned a license, we will have to go into their account and remove the assignment from them to free up that license to assign to a different user. The other big one is on a separate team. Now, when we say different team, that is an Autodesk account team, not a different team in the regards of just your department. You can make it be so, and I'll cover a little bit now. I'll show actually different teams and show you how that works. And then the last one is the seat is truly missing. We have seen this one a couple of times, that there is some issue that needs to be worked out if the other ones don't work. So here, the very first one, again, as I was mentioning, the seat is assigned to the primary admin. When the order is processed, it automatically goes through and assigns the primary admin that seat. So you'll have to go through and look into the admin and see if they're assigned a license. So I'll show what this looks like here. So let me go into our Autodesk account here. And when we go to the by user page, so I'm logged in as an admin right now. So when I go into here, I would go down to the primary admin. If I click on the primary admin, I can then see what that primary admin is assigned a license. So here it would show me that they are assigned. So if we get a new purchase, this user would be assigned a license by default. So then you would just have to click unassign. It will remove that license from the primary admin. Then you'll see how many seats are available to assign to other people. But also if we go to the by product page, you'll see here how many seats are available. So we have 4 of 40 right now. So if we just purchased new licenses or whatever, and this would say that maybe there are 3 of 40 remaining because we just purchased them, whereas that third one is assigned to the primary admin. And on the by user page, you can see each individual user who is assigned a license. You just click on them, but on the by product page, you click on the product, and then it will show you all the users who are assigned a license. So you can just come through here and unassign a license from that particular user if they do not need to be assigned one of those licenses. So if I saw the primary admin in here, I can remove that license from that user to remove them and give it access to someone else to free up a seat. So this is again where you just double check who the primary admin is. And there's a couple ways to know who the primary admin is, because as I mentioned before, by default, it's whoever the contract manager is. So in the regards of, let's say you're a secondary admin and you're trying to look for that license and you can't find it, most likely then it is assigned to the other person in your company who is the primary admin. And that would lead to the next thing, which is the seat is on a different team. This has happened as well when you have different purchases made by different individuals in the company instead of the same user. It depends on who is the contract manager. And then if the contract manager gets reassigned on the back end or the primary admin, this will potentially create a new Autodesk account team. And then you have to look at those account teams to see if it's there. Then you can deal with those of merging licenses or moving them around. You can do that. Now, to create Autodesk teams, I still believe it's to do that, we have to go through Autodesk directly. The end user doesn't have the ability to, but you do have the ability to merge teams in certain conditions. Certain conditions it doesn't allow, but other conditions it does. So let's take a look at the different teams. And the way to figure that out is if you go to the by user page, you will have the teams here. And when there will be a drop down where you can click on and you can switch between the other teams. So here I have 3 teams, and if I click on this one, it switches, and then I see users under this team, and I see users under this team. So you can create and add users on each different team, and then you can assign them the products that are under that team. Now, under the by user page for teams, you won't know what software is available in that particular team until you click on a user, and then you see what available licenses are assigned, are able to be assigned to a user. But if you go to the by products page, you have the same dropdown. So here under this team, I have the architecture, engineering, construction collection. If I hit the drop down, I go to my other one, I have the other licenses that we have as well listed there. And then the third team, I have software listed there. So we have currently in our system for demonstrations here, I have 3 different teams where I have different products and I can create and add users under each different accounts team to be able to do that. So if you are the primary admin of a license and you get a new license, and then you go into your by user or your by product page and the license is not showing here, come up here to the top, just glance up here. If this is, you drop that down, and if you have other teams in here, click on that other team and see if it's there. If it is there and you are not wanting that to happen, you can come up here to the gear symbol. Then you can do the actions, and then you could say move subscriptions into this team. So if I wanted to merge these two products into another team, I actually do want to be in that other team to do so. So I come up here, go to actions and say move. Oh, you can create a team now. Okay, they just added this not too long ago. You can create teams. So if you wanted to move a license into another one, you can create different projects, your teams, you can do that. So move subscription to this team. And then I'm going to see a list of all the things that I can move. So here I see, here's my other products that I can do. And over here, I can hit select and be able to move that over. Now in this regard, I have to be the primary admin to move the subscription, and I am not, I am only the secondary. So I'd have to contact my primary admin to do so, or Autodesk. But this is where you can come through, select those products and move them over. Now the key there is that you have to have none of the seats assigned to the users to move them over. So if I come up here and I have users assigned licenses, I have to unassign them the licenses, then do the move, and then go back into the other team and reassign the licenses from that team. Also, if the software is BIM 360 related or BIM Collaborate Pro, only Autodesk can move those teams or merge those teams. So here it says this is associated with the BIM 360 site. To avoid site issues, please contact Autodesk support for assistance. You can also reach out to ATG support. We will also then work with Autodesk to merge the teams together if they're BIM related. With also the AEC, since that includes Autodesk docs, and if that docs is assigned to a seat or a site of Autodesk docs, you may not be able to merge that over as well. So you might have to contact us also. So that's the second biggest reason that we see is that the team is a different team, or the license is under a different team. And I forgot to mention on that regard, the primary admins and secondary admins can be different for different teams. So on one person, for one licenses, maybe the primary admin for this team is someone else and the secondary admin is someone else. So again, you may not see that because one person's the primary admin and the other one is not. So you don't have that other team up there. So you just need to come in there and make that person a primary or secondary admin. And then they will see the user. So if I wasn't a secondary admin and someone made me a secondary, I would see this team up here to be able to assign. So if you are a person at your company that is designated to assign licenses, but you're not the primary or contract manager, you would just need to get the primary admin to assign you a license or give you their login and you make yourself a license. It's up to you. But also you can contact ATG, your rep, CSR, or support team, and we can help assist there as well. And then the last major one is the software is truly missing. If all the other above, you went and logged in as the primary admin, your secondary admins, you looked at your teams, you go to all products and services, and nothing is showing there. Some of the main reasons for that is if you just purchased the license, It could be that it's still in processes of the order. So in those regards, you can contact your rep or CSR to check the status of that. And if the order has gone through and it does show up on the back end of Autodesk system, and it's still not showing up, there could be another sync issue there. And so we would have to look at the other two primary stuff of who the primary admin is and who the contract manager is, and double check the email to see if it's not the wrong email. That's one of the other big ones, is your email has changed. So you had a different domain or a different first portion of the email, that you went from your first name and last initial, or last name initial, or vice versa. We need to check the back end to see if, oh, on the back end, we see that it's this email, or there was a misspelling in the email. We can get that all corrected on the Autodesk front, and then it will show up in your account. So we can contact your rep, CSR, or support team, and we can get that fixed for you. The next common one we've been getting quite a bit of is, where is my installers? And this is depending on your license type a little bit, and also the assignment of the licenses. Where do you get those? The installers can be downloaded from the user's Autodesk accounts page if a seat is assigned to them. So that's a thing with the single user licenses, or the older perpetual licenses. If a license was not assigned to the user by the primary admin, the end user will not see it in their Autodesk accounts page until they are assigned a license. With a single user license, that is definitely a requirement of being able to assign a license even to use the software. So that would be the first step, is to assign the user a license of the product. If it is network license or multi-user licenses, even if you try to assign a user the multi-user licenses or network license, that will not show up in the end user's Autodesk account. Multi-user network licenses only show up in the primary and secondary admin's account only. So they would have to get the download from their account, and then they can put it somewhere on the server so that all the users can install it. So here we're going to come into the accounts page, and I'm going to show you how to do this. So under all products and services, you will see a list of all the software that you have available. And then depending on the type of software it is, so for example, I have the individual softwares as well as the AEC collection here. If I have just an individual software, so I just purchased 3ds Max by itself, I didn't purchase a collection, I simply hit View Downloads, and then I get to choose the versions that I want to download right here. And also then the Windows platform and the language packs right there. If I have a collection like the AEC collection or the product design collection, I see that listed here. And if I expand it, I'm not going to see anything here for downloads. I have to come over here to View Items. And then I'm going to see a list of all the software that's included in that collection. And then I can come down to that particular software, View Downloads, and then I can, again, pick my year, what OS, and language. Now with these, if I expand if I go back here, I'm going to show this. If I go here, you can see right here what type of license it reads out as well. So this is a multi-user, this is a single user. So if I expand it, I see right here, how many seats I have. And then it says the license type is Autodesk ID. That means that it is a sign-in version, not a multi-user. If you have the older perpetual licenses or network licenses, those are going to be under classic user management. And then you would be able to assign the user the contract and software through here. Now, again, once those are kind of being phased out by Autodesk, so if you're doing the 2-for-1 trade-in, or switching, you would then get the by user and by product pages. And then under the license type, you would get the sign-in or Autodesk ID. It would also tell you under the software what it is for sign-in. So again, once you get to your download, one of the biggest common issues that we also see is, okay, so I got the downloads here. I go to view downloads and I have the options here of what licenses or how to download. By default, if you have just purchased licenses, you never had an account page, or you've been having it for a while and you just haven't done much in the installs in a time, by default, it is the install now option. So when you come in here, there will be the install now. This option here is the ability to install it as it downloads. So when you hit install now, it's going to pop up a little utility. You run it. It will then start to install as it downloads the files that are needed. However, on the support side of it, we have seen that fail quite a bit because depending on the software that you're downloading, it can be quite large. So for example, under the Revit software, it's pretty heavy in size. So right here, if I go install now, it says 4.9 gig, but then it's going to download the rest of it as it installs. So it could take a while. And if for some reason the internet or any kind of issue in network-wise connectivity, hiccups or anything, the whole install fails because it may have missed a file that it was downloading and it didn't get installed, it didn't get put right, so it fails. So what we recommend is when you click on this view all, you have browser download. This is a better option that we recommend on the support side is this browser download. Now, when you click on that, it does switch this button to say browser download instead of install now. You click on browser download, and then it's going to tell you, please make sure you disable your pop-up blocker before downloading and verify that how many files are downloaded. So if I hit start download, I am then going to get those downloads. Now, depending on your browser, it may block these, it may not block these right away. It just depends on your browser. I'm in Firefox right now, and I have set my settings to allow this website. So depending on your browser, you may have to go into the settings and allow pop-ups. You also might get a little window up here on the top, or I think on Chrome, you get a bar here that says, hey, I blocked some things. You click on it, then you say allow Autodesk or manage.autodesk.com to allow pop-ups, and then the others will pop up. So here I have all 5, and I will just need to hit save on every single one of these. So you can see this one is 01_5, 2 of 5, 3 of 5, 4 of 5, and 5 of 5. So I need to hit save on every single one of those, and I want to save them in the same location. And then after all 5 have completed downloading, you'll just want to run the first one, the 001_005. Doing the first one will automatically extract the other 4, or however many counts you have. So this is 5, so it'll extract the other 4. And then after it extracts, it will then stop or pop up the installation where you can move forward. Now on that browser download and install now, to show this here is when you go to your products up here in the upper right, there is a little gear symbol. It's a little kind of hard to see right here. It's a white with this kind of a gray background. Download preferences. And if I click on that, I do have the ability to set what my download preference is. And so right here, I say browser download. So then that means that basically whenever I go to a product and I hit download, it will automatically be browser download by default. Now, the other benefit of the browser download versus the install now is the install now, again, is doing it on that computer that you're on. Whereas if you do the browser download, you can copy those files that it downloaded to a server location, a jump drive, or something else, and move it to other computers to do the installation on those computers as well. So the install now may work. It may be okay on some computers if you're doing it right away. But in other cases, we're trying to do multiple computers much faster doing browser download. We have also seen that the install now, that it may look like it works and functions, but then you have an issue later on and it's related to the install now. You contact the support team, we troubleshoot and we try to look into it. Then we uninstall and then install using the browser download, and that resolves the issue. So that may be a scenario where we're going to recommend browser download every time. Now, actually, hold on, go back to this one. There is another thing I wanted to mention, because when I came in here and I go to the view downloads and I hit the drop down, I only have back down to 2019 in this scenario, because it's the current version plus 3 versions back that the downloads here show. If you are looking for older software like the 18 or 17, or even below that, I believe 17 and 18 are the only ones that we can get to right now. If you need older than that, we have to go to Autodesk to provide those installations, because the licenses for 17 and 18 are still active. In the regards of the licensing structure is the current version plus 5 back for licensing, but for download and support, it's only current version plus 3. If you need to download versions like 17 and 18, you can go to ava.autodesk.com, and you can get the installers from here. You can do this for all software. It's not just the 2018 and 17, but I can come in here and go to Autodesk downloads. I have an existing license. This computer, continue. And then I get to pick my software that I want to download. So if I want to do Revit 2018, I start typing that in. I click that, and then it's going to say, well, here's your installers. By default, it does this computer, and it has here, and you have the download, but then there's also the try browser download here, and then it gives you the parts. So I click part 1, I save it. I click part 2, I save it. I click part 3, and I save it. The only thing about this website here is when I do that, it says, hey, your browser download started, and then it moves this up. So if I get like 7 parts, this may be, pushing it down. So I got to scroll back up to click those other parts. So this is using the Autodesk Virtual Agent, or AVA. And that's how you can get your other installers for those previous versions and even new versions if you do so choose. And then the last thing about these is the activation methods. The activation method depends on your products and license structure that you have purchased. And there's ways to find out if it is a network license or a serial number or sign-in. And you could do this by going to your products and clicking on them, and it will then tell you that. For the most part, when you come in here, if it says single user, for the most part, it's going to be Autodesk ID. But if you do expand the software, it's going to tell you right here what your activation is. So right there on my single user, this is actually serial number based, not sign-in based. So this is an older, this is more of the perpetual licenses than it is. But if I go to my Autodesk collection, it says license type is Autodesk ID. But if I expand it and I go to my software here and I expand it, it says the activation is sign-in. So right there, I can tell it's a sign-in license, which means I need to come over here to the by user and by product page to assign a user. If it is serial number based, when I saw that on the 3ds Max, it said serial number, that is assigned under the classic user management, not in the by user and by product. This will be the same with network licenses. If it is assigned a license for network license, you can come in here to Classic User Management and assign a user of the network, but that doesn't mean that they're going to get a license for the product, because you still have to point to the server for the license. Where you would assign the user here is for the cloud services like rendering in the cloud, or some of the other services that are built into the software but come with the package that you've purchased for the multi-user. So you can assign them the service of that. And then with the serial number based, it will tell you your serial number, and it will also tell you your product key as well. Now for the product key, if you just go to Autodesk.com and search product key, you can also get a list of all the product keys for every single software. So if you can't find your product key somewhere for any reasons, you can just go to Autodesk.com, search product key, and you'll get a web page where you can just type in your product, and it will then give you the key, the product key there. That is different than the serial number. The serial number is where you register with a serial number. Product key is the same for all software, but slightly different for each year. So AutoCAD 2020 is 001, but then the last number is like L1 or M1 or N1. So it changes. All right, so these are the three most common reasons that we've been seeing some issues and with licenses on your Autodesk accounts page, that you might get a new licenses or having issues. If you have any issues with this, or you're having some of those issues, please let us know. All right, well, thank you for your time here. I will leave this up for a little bit if you have any questions that you want to propose. Again, thanks for your time, and y'all have a great day.